Welcome back to Chronicles of the Past, where we tell you the story of the present and past of legends. We are still yet to finish with our own very Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Remember, we stopped on episode 1, at where we say that the more popular Fela became, the more the government saw him as a threat. But remember, we also say that Fela didn't stop. He said the truth must be told, no matter the cost. He said, music is the weapon. And for Fela, that weapon was now fully loaded. By the mid-1970s, Fela Anikulapo Kuti was no longer just an entertainer. He had become a powerful voice for the oppressed. Through his music, he was saying things that most people were too afraid to say. He was not scared of the police, the army, or the politicians. And because of that, the government began to see him as a dangerous man. Fela's Kalakuta Republic, his self-declared independent nation inside Nigeria, had become a symbol of rebellion. It was where he lived, made music, and gathered people who believed in freedom. In Kalakuta, Fela housed his band members, dancers, his wives, and people who had nowhere else to go. He took care of the sick, fed the hungry, and gave shelter to those the society had rejected. But the Nigerian government didn't like Kalakuta. They said it was a place of crime. They accused Fela of using drugs, disrespecting authority, and corrupting the youth. But what they really feared was his influence. His songs like Shuffering and Schmiling, Zombie and Authority Stealing were played everywhere. People were waking up and asking questions. Why are we suffering? Why is there no light or water? Why are leaders stealing money? Fela gave the people a voice, and that made the powerful angry. Then came the Kalakuta raid of 1977, one of the most tragic events in Fela's life. On February 18, 1977, nearly 1,000 Nigerian soldiers stormed the Kalakuta Republic. They broke through the gates, beat up everyone they found, destroyed Fela's studio, and burned the entire compound to the ground. Fela was badly injured. His wives and band members were beaten and abused. But the worst part, the soldiers threw Fela's mother, the great Funmilayo Ransome-Kuti, from a window. She was already elderly, and the fall left her severely injured. A few months later, she died from those wounds. Fela was broken, heartbroken, and full of anger. But even in his pain, he refused to be silent. Fela took his mother's coffin and marched to the main army barracks in Lagos, placing the coffin at the gate. It was a powerful protest. He wrote a song called Coffin for Head of State, calling out the military rulers for their cruelty and lies. That same year, Fela also released Unknown Soldier, a song based on the government's fake report that claimed no soldier attacked Kalakuta. The song was sharp, painful, and true. It told the whole world what had happened, and people listened. From that day, Fela became even more than a musician. He became a symbol, a man who spoke the truth no matter the pain. The more they tried to break him, the stronger he became. After the brutal raid on Kalakuta Republic, Fela Anikulapo Kuti was wounded, physically and emotionally, but he was not defeated. If anything, he became even more committed to using his music as a weapon. He no longer saw himself as just an artist. He was now a soldier in a different kind of war, a war against corruption, injustice, and oppression. Fela continued to perform at his club, the Africa Shrine, which had become a center of resistance. Every week, hundreds of people gathered there to listen to his new songs, hear him speak about government failures, and feel a sense of freedom in a country full of fear. But the Nigerian government didn't stop coming after him. Fela was arrested over 200 times in his life. The police and soldiers would pick him up after a performance, beat him, and throw him in jail. Sometimes for days, sometimes for months. Most times they had no real charges. Sometimes they accused him of smoking marijuana. Other times they said he insulted the government. But everyone knew the truth. Fela was being punished for his voice. In 1979, during a period when Nigeria returned briefly to civilian rule, Fela decided to take his fight to the next level. He created his own political party called MOP, Movement of the People. His goal was to run for president and bring real change to the country. He said his party stood for the poor, for justice, and for African values. Fela's campaign was bold and full of energy. He went from city to city, speaking directly to the people. He didn't promise them lies or fake hope. He told the truth. He spoke about greed in politics, poverty in the streets, and the need for African pride. He wanted leaders who served the people, not themselves. But the government was afraid. They saw that Fela's message was spreading. They quickly banned him from running for office, saying he didn't meet certain requirements. It was another way to silence him. Still, Fela didn't stop. He released powerful albums like ITT, International Thief, where he attacked big companies and political leaders who were stealing from the people. He sang about Obasanjo and Abiola, calling them thieves in suits. He made enemies, yes, but he also won hearts. The more they locked him up, the more he wrote music. When he was in prison, he composed songs in his head and remembered them by heart. When he came out, he would go straight to the studio and record them. In 1984, under the military government of General Muhammadu Buhari, Fela was arrested again. This time, the charge was currency smuggling, a fake case. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. Even though witnesses said he was innocent, the judge refused to listen. It was clear the government just wanted to keep Fela quiet. Fela was sent to Kirikiri prison, one of the toughest jails in Nigeria. But even there, he held his head high. He refused to bow. He played music for the other prisoners, shared his food, and gave hope to the hopeless. After 18 months, international pressure from human rights groups, musicians, and world leaders forced the government to release him. Fela walked out of prison thinner, older, but still full of fire. He went back to the shrine and picked up the microphone again. We are not going to stop here. Now the real story will begin. Stay tuned for the last episode. If you have not yet subscribed to this channel, kindly do so now, so that whenever we post a video you will get the notification. Thank you, and God bless you.